tendinitis in his right leg. Now it's spreading, both legs.
This is a bizarre one, man.
I don't know what. I've never heard of this.
I guess because you compensate. You overcompensate
happens?
because of the injury, so it affects the other. Yeah, kinetic chain.
Schefter saying there's a
you don't get tendinitis in both legs.
I know, maybe it just was discovered.
Dr. Wright is
Schefter saying there's a, quote, major question on when he will return. Here's Kyle Shanahan.
During the time, he's had it in both. I think it started in one. You get it overcompensated, went to the other, but mainly one of them has just been bothering, but he's had it in both.
Kyle, have you had a chance to talk to Christian about the treatment and if he's feeling any better at all?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Can the 49ers win the Super Bowl without CMC?
Just real quick, maybe we all overestimate how often head coaches talk to their star players. Devontae's like, if you talk to Antonio, it's like, no. Kyle, if you talk to Christian, no. Again, maybe that just shocks me.
Well, look, I think the Raiders thing is totally different than this situation. He went overseas, right, for treatment.
Because calls are 25 cents a minute.
And Kyle has been coaching the team, and I'm sure he's in contact with the trainers, the doctors, everybody else.
How you doing?
Not good. All right, to answer this question, no, I don't think they can. Not with this defense and the other issues they have on the team. I think Brock Purdy's played really well this year. I think that he passes the bar of, like, can this guy be the quarterback of a team who wins Super Bowl? He's played at that level this year. No, I don't think they can. And I also am proposing a new rule for the show.
Okay.
Because I think right now people are a little high on the Niners' supply because of the last game. I think for good or for bad, every game played against the New England Patriots this year gets thrown out. I think it made the Jets think they were awesome. Yeah. The Bengals, they stink. Yeah. The Seahawks are very mediocre, and I just think the Patriots are just the outlier team of the year, and it's a house of mirrors result no matter what it is. So I'm just throwing it out.
It's not unfair.
Sorry.
Look,
confusing.
I don't think they will win the Super Bowl. Obviously, I picked Green Bay in the NFC, but I'm not going to write them off and say they couldn't. Because they have everybody else back, all the Kittle and Debo's back now. Juwan Jennings obviously is emerging. I mean, Brandon Ayuk needs to wake up and start playing better. But Purdy, like you said, Nick is throwing it well. The defense is has not been as good, but still, I mean, the talent is there. And Jordan Mason, he's not the receiver that McCaffrey is, obviously. And I'm not even saying he's as good of a runner. But he is second in the NFL in rushing. He's got 33 yards less than Derrick Henry. He's averaging 4.9 yards a carry. So, I don't think they will. But I do think they're still a contender, like in that group.
Yeah, I definitely think they can. And to your point, if we just bring up Mason's production here, if you look at where they were, so it's a little bit less yards per carry, but he's got more yards per game. You see where the difference is reception-wise. So you lose receptions from McCaffrey. Now, how is that translated through the first 4 games? If you look at it, if we go to the next slide here, if you look at the overall production, it's not that different. Total yards per game is the second. What's most surprising is they're better through 4 games throwing the ball without McCaffrey than they were with McCaffrey. So I think the real issue is in the red zone, not having him as a threat.
Yeah,
that's where,
because they haven't scored. Right, they've only thrown 5 times.
That's where you see the drop off. But the actual production, they've done a pretty good job.
You guys called it.
Worst to play in this.
Former Jets quarterback. Yeah, you're rolling.
Yeah, you're rolling. What are you doing? You're letting someone else throw a pass.
Good point. Former Jets QB Boomer Esiason doesn't like the attitude of the current Jets QB towards Robert Saleh. Here's Boomer on what he's seeing.
I saw a very annoyed, frustrated, and I've seen an annoyed and frustrated quarterback for the last 4 weeks, even though I thought they had gotten better over the last 3 weeks. But yesterday's post-game press conference, there is a major issue there. It's because you have this 40-year-old Hall of Fame quarterback to be dealing with a coach that I think he doesn't respect.
Eek. Okay. Brew your reaction.
I get that Robert Saleh's not Vince Lombardi or even Matt LaFleur.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers needs to look in the mirror.
Thank you, Brew.
Aaron Rodgers needs to look in the mirror. Now, again, we're not absolving Saleh. They held Denver to 10 points and less than 200 yards, 60 yards passing, and you brought in the Hall of Famer who has himself talked about a Super Bowl, and you can't get me more than 10 points? The Jets, and we know the defense didn't look great early in the season. Right now, they're 3rd in the league in yards allowed and 5th in the league in points allowed, 15 a game.
And 3 straight games shutting down the opposition.
Yeah, they could be maybe 2-2 with Zach Wilson right now.
Yeah.
So Aaron Rodgers needs to get on the same page as you said earlier with Garrett Wilson. I'm not defending Salah, and I don't know what their relationship is. But Aaron Rodgers needs to look in the mirror. You're the one that's supposed to be the savior. All right? You need to start playing like it, because he isn't right now.
That's exactly right.
Am I off here, or is Boomer a little bit late on this take?
Yeah, that's correct.
Like, he's just realizing that Aaron Rodgers is annoyed with Salah. Aaron Rodgers has been annoyed with Salah since he got here last year. I mean, this is ongoing. He takes every opportunity to take a shot at the guy, and that's well established. In terms of last game, I don't know if they'd be 2-2 with Zach or not. But with the situation last game, they couldn't stay on side, so they couldn't use the cadence. He was sacked 5 times. There were a lot of things that went into it. He has a lot of responsibility for that as well. I think some of the frustration lies in, he's got a defensive head coach. I don't know how fluent Salah is in the offense and how well he understands it. And when they talk about problems, Aaron's talking one language and Salah's talking a totally different language. And I'm sure that has a level of frustration for Aaron, who already has a very small level of patience for people in general.
So I don't know that I agree with you, Coach, that he's felt this way towards Salah for over a year.
Well, it's close.
Well, I think I can tell you the date. I think it's when Robert Saleh stepped at that podium and said this absence is unexcused.
Yeah.
Because I think Rodgers easily could have had Salah gone going into this year.
Well, that's what I was
as a prerequisite of him coming back. You know what I mean? So now maybe he didn't respect him, but he liked to coach. He thought he could control whatever it is. What I will say is, man, bravo to Aaron Rodgers here.
Oh.
This is just a case study in perfect, intentional or otherwise, media manipulation. I've never seen a game where a Hall of Fame quarterback saviors team loses when the other team scores 10 points,
right,
and the narrative afterwards is about everything other than the fact that the quarterback played terribly. Like, I've never seen it. How about we mentioned Zach Wilson. Let's take the entire Zach Wilson and Sam Darnold tenures combined. The Jets lost one game where their defense allowed 10 points or fewer. One game. It was your Patriots, that stupid punt return game, 10-3. That's it. You don't lose games like this.
Right.
So Rodgers now has as many losses as a Jets quarterback where the defense plays great as Darnold and Zach Wilson combined.
That's pretty good.
Listen, and I'm one of the biggest critics of Bobby Saleh, but this one ain't on him. The defense saved him against the Titans, or Will Levis, saved him, whatever, blanked the Patriots, and played great against the Broncos. And so you guys are saying they could be 2-2 with Zach Wilson. They might be 3-1. Like, I don't.
He's a defensive coach.
I'm not
right.
the Aaron Rodgers defender, but when you do give up 5 sacks, which has happened very rarely in Aaron Rodgers' career, especially over the last 5 years, and guys can't stay on sides when you're trying to mix in the cadence, which is a huge weapon. The
line was a problem.
Everybody takes some accountability here. They didn't run the ball very effectively either.
Yeah.
So it was layers upon layers, which is problematic.
All right. If this was Brady in Tampa Bay, I felt like Brady got most, and maybe he wanted most of the, let's say, responsibility for getting things fixed. That wasn't all just passed off to the coaching staff. If there was false starts where he's like, I would have to get that cleaned up. Right. Am I misremembering that?
Yeah, you're talking both Hall of Fame quarterbacks, but totally different attitude towards the team. Tom is the type of guy where it didn't matter who came into the locker room. He's welcoming in the locker room. He's getting to know guys. He's trying to bring people together. It's a different formula where that aloofness and
for sure. But your point is correct in this regard, and I'll use Coach's words. I know we got to go. When we're talking about Caleb Williams,
Yeah.
the first thing Coach Fairley